you. Lovely to meet you, Monica. Congratulations on this fantastic film. If you could just start by maybe giving us a little brief introduction to what At Midnight is all about, what viewers can expect when they watch it.
At Midnight is a beautiful rom-com set in Mexico about a lovely hotel manager named Alejandro, played by Diego Boneta, the only, and who his world collides with this actress who's in town shooting her superhero movie, and they, start to sneak around at midnight.
I mean, it's interesting to see kind of fresh and Top Gun Maverick, where you play this sort of strong-willed female fighter pilot, and taking on this role now as beautiful actress Sophie in a rom-com. Your structures are represented in sort of an entirely different way. What was the appeal of this particular script? What drew you to it, and what do you love about the character Sophie?
Well, thank you for saying that about Phoenix. I definitely love a hard pivot. One of the reasons I became an actor was to get to sort of experience as many lives or versions of lives and different people's stories as possible. So that was definitely something that drew me to this, that it's all romance, whereas the Phoenix character is maybe more work than play, though still fun in her own right. And I just love the idea of everyone getting to work on a film where we're all just trying to make each other fall in love and laugh. So that was a treat. And then also the fact that we were going to get to film in Mexico was really, really exciting to me. They included it in the story because it's my actual background, that my grandmother was born and raised in Mexico City. And so that was something that was a bit of a bucket list item, I guess. I just really wanted to film in Mexico, and I would go back to film anything in a heartbeat. That was just incredible. And of course, to work with Diego Boneta, who's so talented, and then was producing this, and just a really, I was very inspired by how he worked on this. And Jonah Feingold, our director, was just so great. So great to talk to, and he really loves rom-coms. And so it was kind of like, why wouldn't I do it? Like there was no reason not to. It just made so much sense.
And how did you kind of forge and build that relationship? I mean, the chemistry is off the scale in this with Diego. I mean, it's just wonderful to watch. It feels so authentic to watch. But how did you kind of build that relationship with him to bring that to screen?
It was funny. We had Zoom is a difficult platform to have a chemistry read, but we had a great one. And so when they chose me for the role after that, and we sat down at various lunches and got to know each other better, but it was something that we just sort of had. I mean, we have like certain similarities, and we just got along so well. It was actually pretty funny. We had to, on the other end of the spectrum, we had to remember that like a lot of our favorite rom-coms start out with two characters not liking each other, sort of like noticing that there's maybe an attraction, but also pushing them away completely. And so we had to be reminded to not get along so well. Jonah kept being like, no, remember, you don't like each other at the very beginning of the story, because then you have somewhere to go. You have something to build from. So honestly, that was more of the challenge than the getting along and working well together part.
Gotcha. And I know, obviously I know now you've got many skill sets. You're now a trained fighter pilot from Tom Cruise, but also your background before you're an actor was you're a classically trained dancer, and we get to see this in the film. And was that already kind of written in the script for your part, or did you kind of work it in? And was that exciting for you to kind of bring that element of your previous training into the film?
It was so exciting to me. And actually in the original script, it was written that she's like, I can't dance and he can't either. And I was like, Diego for sure can dance. He's a performer, he's a singer, he's, you know, he can do it all. And then they found out about my dance background, and then everyone from that moment on was just like, lean in, let's do this. And it was great because it's, you know, you have to think about the floor and the shoes and the dress and the choreography. I got to bring on somebody who has been a beloved salsa teacher of mine in Los Angeles. His name is Desi, and he just did a beautiful job with the choreography. And it's a treat to get to use these skills that I just have not. I definitely had to dust them off to do.
Well, it didn't show. It looked amazing. And obviously you get to work with a brilliant ensemble cast. You've got Anders Holm and people like Fernanda Casa set in a brilliant location scene in sunny Mexico. It just looks like a really fun film to shoot. What was some of the highlights of your time on set?
We really had so much fun. It was intense hours, and we were all in this lovely hotel, the Atelier in Cancun or Playa Mujeres. And it was this all inclusive, and it sort of felt like we were all on a boat together. Or like we were all at summer camp together. We just had so much fun, and we all bonded so immediately. It was one of those things where there was not a single individual who just didn't like work perfectly in the group, and we all became such good friends. It was honestly really hard to say goodbye on this, and same with our crew too. It's one of the most wonderful crews and groups of people I've ever had the honor of working with in Mexico. So, or at all, but they are in Mexico is what I'm saying. So yeah, it was just one big love affair all around.
And I think, I mean, there's so many nods to other rom-coms running through this. I mean, there's some, classic things. I mean, you have a line where you say, "I'm just a gal standing in front of a boy asking him to feed it," and it reminded me of like Notting Hill.
Yeah.
And at some of your favourite romantic comedy go-tos?
I love When Harry Met Sally. I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Their chemistry is so funny and so good, so great. And I do really love some of the classics like Roman Holiday and I Love Philadelphia Story. Like you kind of with a rom-com with me, you kind of can't go wrong. Um, it's a treat. And I love that people are making so many now, and people are just embracing like, what story can we tell today? And let's make as many as possible. And then, the very best ones rise to the top, and we're still talking about them. So yeah, I'm excited. It's a fun time.
And I mean, obviously you get to really, you wear this really cool superhero costume when you play the actress in this at midnight. I mean, is that a genre that you'd also like to go into? And what roles would you kind of look for next?
God, I really don't know. I keep getting asked this question, and I have no preparation for it, except that I don't know. I do think it would be very fun at some point in my career to get to play a really intense villain. And I feel like you could just like, speaking of a hard pivot, I feel like that would just be such a joy to get to sink my teeth into some really evil behavior. I don't know who, but I'm sure there's room.
And also, I know Diego was part of the production team in this movie. Is that something you'd like to go into yourself? I think I did read somewhere that you kind of wanted to focus on something sort of dance focused yourself in the future. Is that kind of a plan for you?
Yeah, I am producing a few projects, and it did awaken something within me where I guess just remembered that I have, all of this experience having been a dancer, and that can be a very useful and entertaining thing. And so I'm definitely looking for projects with dance in them, and any like, physicality that I see as maybe being a strength, but also just I'm looking for great stories, and I have a few things in production that are still like very much starting phases, in development, as we say. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. So you'll definitely see. I hope if all goes well, you'll see those projects the future.
Obviously, At Midnight is out just in time for Valentine's Day. What do you hope that viewers will take away from watching this film?
Well, I think it's such a wonderful film. There's so much love, and it really is joyous, and I think that is like the best of Valentine's Day, to get to, like, if not on your own, so celebrate with some other characters who are falling in love. And but I also just love the way it portrays Mexico, and sheds light on how really truly beautiful that country is, um and the people there. And I hope, especially in the States, that people recognize that, and develop their relationship with the country, because we're neighbors. So,
Well, thank you. I think we're out of time. Thank you so much for speaking to me. And it's a lovely film. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
thank you. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.